Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I'm going to go over another very good way to make gold once you've gotten into tier 3. And I think this method is a bit underused by a lot of the player base. Now, the basis of how you make gold with this is to sell epic and legendary tier 3 ability stones. And that isn't the part that I think is underused by a lot of players, but that is the base starting point of making gold. Because a lot of the different content you'll be doing, you'll be getting random ability stones. If you're higher item level into tier 3, you'll primarily start to get legendary ability stones. And when you're lower, you'll primarily get epic ability stones. And vast majority of the ability stones you're going to get aren't going to be worth much of anything. So like everything else, you're going to dismantle those. But that brings us to the part that I think is underused in terms of making gold by a lot of players, because you are then going to get the currency that allows you to buy more randomly rolled ability stones. So in my inventory, I have a bunch of the epic and legendary tier 3 ability stone resources, and you go to an ability stone cutter in any of the major cities, and this is where you can go and purchase new randomly rolled ability stones. This essentially allows you to just re-roll ability stones in a sense, because you need to dismantle a certain amount of ability stones and then you'll have enough currency to buy a new randomly rolled one. But I do think a good amount of players actually neglect selling ability stones on the market, especially if they don't know what stats or rolls are worth a lot of gold. And then I think a lot of players also neglect actually spending these currencies to get ability stones to also try to sell those for gold, because you build these up pretty quickly. And pretty much anytime you have enough of this currency, you can just go to the vendor and buy as many of these as you can, and then see what stats you get. And if you get good stats to sell, you can sell them. And if you get lucky, you could potentially make a pretty large amount of gold through these, because well-rolled ability stones are always going to be valuable. Because even if someone goes and buys a really good ability stone with really good stats, they can just get unlucky and get terrible cuts on them, making that stone completely worthless, and they'll have to go buy another stone, because cutting these stones are essentially RNG. Now, a big part of selling ability stones is just gaining the knowledge of what stats are worth, what stat combinations are valuable, and there's kind of some base ways in game that you can just search these up pretty easily and just learn the stats over time. So once you have some ability stones, all you're gonna have to do is control right click and do auction house market value. Now what first comes up is going to be stones that have sold, that are a copy of the stone you're searching for, and how much they've sold for and the sell date. But this doesn't mean this is going to be their price. This could be an overpriced price from before, or this could be some super undervalued price and somebody accidentally forgot to add a zero. So what you're going to do once you get into this page, you're going to go over to search, and what this is going to do is it's going to search for the exact copy of that ability stone that are currently on the market. So what you're going to do, going to go over to buy now price, and you're just going to click this arrow twice, and this is going to show you the cheapest versions of that exact same ability stone. And as you can see, the stone I searched for is pretty much worthless. A lot of stones are this cheap unless you get two specific rolls on them. So stuff like this, I wouldn't even recommend selling really. I would usually just recommend dismantling them again, and dismantling them will go towards buying new random ability stones. Now, another good way to go about learning what stats are worth selling on these ability stones is just looking up different builds for different classes and seeing what roles those classes would want, and starting at stuff like berserkers or igniter sorceresses, stuff like that. More popular classes are generally going to give you a better idea of what's going to sell, and that's a good way to more long-term learn all of these stats you should be looking for, because just getting ability stones and then going and checking every single one on the market is going to add up to a lot of time wasted. So learning what stats are actually good so you can just look at the ability stone, know if this is good or if this is bad, is going to save you a lot of time in the long run. But that's also something you just have to learn over time, and learning all of the different builds in the game and what stats they want to use. And for example, you can also search for the prices on the market decently easily. Our auction house is the worst versions for searching for stuff like this, but essentially what you do right now is you would just go to ability stones, and then you can go over here and go to advanced search. So what I'm going to do is search for legendary. We're going to go to tier 3, and all you're going to want to search for is the 2 stat engraving combinations. And there are some combinations that are worth quite a lot of gold. So I put in Cursed Doll and Grudge. These are 2 of the best DPS engravings in the game, and these are both used for pretty much every DPS class. These are some of the best rolls. So then you just search this and you go to the buy now price, and as you see, these are currently going for 800 gold. So this is one of the more valuable stone rolls. Now you can also check market value because this can tell you some additional information. So right here we have two stones with the same rolls on them. They both sold today. One sold for 1,000 gold, one sold for 1,500 gold. But if we go back, they're only 800, 850, 900, somewhere in that region. And usually what I'll do if I get a well-rolled stone like this is I'll just throughout the day go and check the prices and see the prices, because depending on what time of day it is, if it's a prime time or a dead time like early in the morning or something like that, the prices can have pretty substantial differences. Like how if we go here, these prices are so much higher than what they're currently going for. So specifically, if I got this exact same roll, I would probably wait to see if I could sell it for 1,000 or over 1,000 gold, because for really valuable ability stone rolls like this, people are usually just going to buy it at whatever price it's currently up for. So if you wait, you can usually get a good amount more gold than the current price they're going for whenever you check. And if you want to learn more about what specific classes and builds are using for their engravings, I'd recommend just using something like Maxwellgg. You can just go check all the builds very easily and see what engraving rolls they're going to want. And this will be very helpful in just allowing you to learn at a glance what rolls are good and what ability stones are going to be worth a lot of gold. Now, I've only been talking about legendary ability stones for tier 3, but if you get the correct rolls, epic ability stones can actually still be worth a lot of gold. And I do think even people that have been selling the correct legendary ability stones may still be throwing away their epics. So we just looked at the legendary tier 3 ability stones with Cursed Doll and Grudge on them, and those are going for 800 gold as of right now. But if we go to the epic version and check those prices, they're currently going for, say, around 200 gold. This first one's actually quite a bit cheaper, but you should be able to sell these for around 200 gold. So for especially a lot of your alts that you're getting into tier 3 and starting to get those tier 3 epic ability stones, keep an eye out for those as well. But that's pretty much all I want to go over for this gold making method. If you're somebody that has been just pretty much throwing away all your ability stones and not checking the prices on these tier 3 ability stones, I would recommend you start doing it. You can make a lot of gold if you get lucky with even just a couple decent rolled ability stones. So subscribe if you want to see more Lost Ark or other MMO videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this gold making method, and thanks for watching.